I'm Everett Triplett. I wrote Imminent EMP. I'm here to tell you I am a general engineering contractor, a real estate broker, a property developer, businessman, and the owner of a metal building construction company. But my number one job is I've been appointed by the Lord as a watchman to explain to you about what's happening in our world today and that everything you see on our global scene has been defined exactly in the prophecies. And I am a man these things have been revealed to, what God is saying, because he loves us and this world has problems. And he's coming with a cure. The world is sick and he's got a cure.
It's the Bible Prepper Show. It's what you need to know. Now listen to the watchman who tells you to stock up with 390 days of food and water and supply. When the land turns dark, you can't survive. Flee to the mountains when summer is nigh, because the cities are going to blow sky high. It's an EMP. Destruction is
Everett Triplett is the author of the two books, You Can Survive World War III and Imminent EMP, Be a Survivor. The books are available on Amazon and at Barnes & Noble. Everett's on his way to the John Birch Society conference in Salt Lake City, Utah. Everett, what is it that you are seeking to get out of the conference when you arrive there?
I'm expecting to go there and say to them, God sent me to you. I have been sent by God to tell people what the Word of God is saying. It says, Jesus was asked in Matthew 24 by the disciples, tell us when will be the end of the age. Jesus answered. He said, you see nations rise against nations. It's the beginning of birth pains. I'm here to tell you we're in birth pains. They're not going to stop. But it also mentions that in 1 Thessalonians 5:3, it says, concerning the times, you know perfectly that the day of the Lord is coming, while the people, and some versions say when, they say peace and safety, sudden destruction is coming upon them, like labor pains on a pregnant woman. So it's referring to that in multiple places. But Jesus said in Matthew 24, when summer's near, it's at the door. No one knows the day or the hour. And the day is 24 hours and an hour is 60 minutes. But it doesn't say no man knows the month. The month is June because that's when summer begins in June. And even Jesus, the week by the moon. He says the moon will not give light. And we're getting close to summer near. We're getting close to the new moon. The moon makes a 28-day cycle. And in a 28 days cycle, the moon has 4 phases. That's 7 days each phase. That's the week. Doesn't say no man knows the week. Then the phase of the new moon is the only phase that doesn't give light. That's coming up around June 14th. I'm not saying that's the day. But when there's no light from the moon at night, when summer's near, it actually is describing 1/4 of the earth, because that's the 4 horsemen are coming, and the seals break, which is like the breaking of the water in the birth pain process. Food's going to be scarce. A day's wages for a quart of wheat. I'm telling everybody, God has sent me to you. He wants you to know what his prophecy, the word, is coming to be fulfilled. The Thessalonians says, you know perfectly when they say peace and safety. So I'm seeing a huge global organization formed by President Trump called Board of Peace. It's formed January 2026. It's a clue. This is the year. Their nations are coming together, paying $1 billion to be a member of the Board of Peace. They got like 28 members now. And so they're saying peace and safety. Doesn't say when they have it, when they're talking about it. And that's what the Board of Peace is. It's a huge global organization comparable to the United Nations. So that's one clue about 2026. See, because it says when summer's near, and summer comes and goes every year. So does anybody know the year? It doesn't say no one knows the year. It says no one knows the day or the hour. I'm looking at the clues. Another clue is Egypt. I found a scripture in 1 Corinthians 10:11. The stories in Israel's history serve as examples. Egypt is an example. The story was the Pharaoh got a dream from God. The cows and the seven abundant years would come, and they'd be followed by 7 years of famine and drought. Well, the third horseman says a day's wages for a quart of wheat. Joel chapter 1 says food will be scarce. Ezekiel 4 says get 390 days supply of wheat, barley, beans, store up the food. But the actual fourth of the earth, the four horsemen are only authorized. They have authority to kill on a quarter of the earth. And I go, what quarter of the earth would that be? Well, it's not night, and it's an attack at night. Jeremiah 6, they plan to attack at night. You only have night on half of the earth. You don't have night worldwide at the same time. And you don't have summer worldwide at the same time. Half of the world has winter when half has summer. So the very description, a night attack when summer's near, can only apply to a quarter of the earth. And the nations that are rising against nations are easily identified as the NATO nations, Ukraine and the United States. And then you got Iran and the United States, Russia, Ukraine. And Ezekiel 38 says in the latter days, they form an evil plan. They come from the far north. Prince of Rosh, Rosh is Russia. Prince of Rosh is Putin. And Iran, it says Persia will be with them. That's Iran. These nations come together, and it says they will attack peaceful, unsuspecting people. My people, Israel. It doesn't talk about the place Israel. It talks about the people, Israel. So who are they? God promised Abraham he would be father of many nations. And so NATO nations occupy a fourth of the earth. I studied it. I looked at it, and it's very clear in my mind. And 2026 is the year. I'm being approached by an officer.
Hello.
Yes. Yes, officer.
You doing okay?
I'm having a video conference right now because I have signal right here.
Okay.
And
Want to make sure you're not stranded.
talking about what's happening in our world today.
Okay.
I'm actually headed to the John Birch Society in Salt Lake
Cool.
to talk about how we're very close to nuclear war. I have books and printed information. I'm an author on Amazon.
Okay.
And so I'm a messenger from God. And I'm trying to communicate that to a video right now. I'm doing a podcast.
Sounds good.
All right.
Just want to make sure you're not stranded.
Thank you for
Yep. Have
talking,
a
brother.
safe day, sir.
All right. There's another clue about 7 years of famine coming, which the third horse says it'll be a day's wages for a quart of wheat. That's like wheat is there's no food. Food is scarce and becomes very valuable. And so the famine begins with the drought. Egypt had 7 years of drought. And another factual information you can look up about the year 2026. January, February, March, this year begins with what is being recognized or recorded as the worst drought conditions ever recorded. We are entering into severe drought conditions. So if the story of Egypt having 7 abundant years and then they have 7 years of famine and drought, the year 2026, that could be another clue. This is the year the drought has begun. There's the Board of Peace is a clue. They began saying peace and safety. The birth pains are escalating. These are all clues that God is showing us because he has a good plan to bring forth the new life. The kingdom of heaven is coming to the earth. This age is coming to an end. It's an age of wickedness where Satan is ruling the world with the global elite and the greed and the wickedness that's out there. The love of money is the root of all evil. The evilness is brought to an end. We're to look forward to a new heaven, new earth. The coming new age is home of the righteous. It says, so there's going to be a lot of death and destruction. In fact, Ezekiel 5 says, a third of the people perish in the cities of famine and plague. Another third will perish in the country by the sword. But 1/3 survivor in the mountains. And then Zechariah 13:8 says, 2/3 perish in those times, but 1/3 are call on the name of the Lord. They're brought through the fire, tested like silver, refined like gold. The refining of God's people is coming. The testing is coming. It says they call on the name of the Lord, and the Lord hears them. But I looked up the 1/3 of the population of 1/4 of the earth being 32 nations called NATO. It's about 330 million, or the whole population of the NATO countries is 967 million. So these prophecies applied numerically are mind-blowing, saying that 640 million in that neighborhood perish in a 390-day siege in a 1-year period of time. But it says in chapter 2 of Joel to be glad and rejoice. The Lord has done great things. He drives the northern army back out. The people turn and pray. There's revival comes. And then it says the Lord sends the grain, the wine, and the oil, enough to satisfy you fully. The people are going to have plenty to eat in 390 days later, because you're told to store up that much food, which brings you to the harvest of the next year. There's going to be the loss of a harvest as the harvest is taken away in Joel chapter 1. And it's the fallout that contaminates the crops, because it says the harvest is out in the field. Anyway, we're to 10 days, 12 days, 15 days away from the most powerful prophetic event. The entire Bible's talking about it. And so God sent me to tell you this is his plan. He wants us to be aware, just like Noah was told, build the ark and get ready. So you have a little bit of time left to get ready, and that's why I'm going on an 8-hour drive to Salt Lake, to the John Birch Society, to inform them. They're good people, and I want them to know we are at the last, it's like the midnight doomsday clock. We're like 5 seconds to midnight. So, yeah, it's about to happen. From all the clues I've collected, the clues all indicate we are there. Russia, Iran, and I heard that Iran is getting nukes. Nuclear weapons are being provided to Iran from Pakistan. Other countries are coming to Iran's aid. So even though Trump says we're going to do everything we can to stop Iran, Iran's not going to have nuclear weapons. No, we're not. We will obliterate them. The Midnight Hammer, stop their nuclear testing and their nuclear facilities. But we can't stop what God says is coming. But we can be prepared for it, and we can go through birth pains, which will be, the pain will be real, but the benefits will be amazing. New life is coming. We're all here because our mothers a long time ago had a bad day. They gave birth to each one of us, and our lives began because of that day our mothers had birth pains. So don't look at birth pains as a negative thing, but do understand that we are going to experience some pain in this process that God has described in the prophecies.
2,500 years ago, a prophet saw the end before it began.
Daniel saw 4 kingdoms. We are currently between the second and third beast. The bear, Russia, has been told to arise and devour much flesh. That is the nuclear attack, the day of the Lord. After the 390-day siege ends, when God drives the Northern Army out, the third beast rises. Global government given authority to rule. And then the fourth, China, the industrial giant behind much of the world's manufacturing. The sequence has not stalled. The global elite are not an abstraction. They are the architects of a financial system that creates money from nothing, extracts wealth from every nation on earth, and funds both sides of every war to ensure the debt never stops growing. Creation of money from nothing. A power no elected government controls. Revelation 17:4. The woman was dressed in purple and scarlet, glittering with gold and pearls. She held a golden cup filled with abominable things. She was drunk with the blood of the saints. She's obsessed with the love of money, which Scripture calls the root of all evil. And she will be destroyed by the very military power she thinks she controls. The United States has bombed more countries than any other nation in history. That is not a political statement. It is a historical record.
In 1999, NATO bombed Yugoslavia for 78 days, without UN approval. Not just Serbia, but even Montenegro, which tried to stay neutral, was hit. Most people don't even know. This happened. Cities were reduced to rubble, lives were lost.
Isaiah 33:1 does not say America is evil. It says, when the destroyer stops destroying, it will be destroyed. The Art of War says, all war is deception. Thessalonians 5:3. When they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes. Isaiah 33:10. Woe to you, destroyer, you who have not been destroyed. When you stop destroying, you will be destroyed. When you stop betraying, you will be betrayed. The architecture of Washington, D.C. was not chosen for aesthetics. Fluted columns from Athens, Greek influence on the Supreme Court, the Lincoln Memorial, the Capitol itself. These are deliberate declarations. Why does the American capital look like Athens? Because America is the last leg of a journey that began in Egypt. A New Hampshire license plate fills the frame. Live free or die. Revelation 3:18. I counsel you to buy gold refined in the fire, so that you can become rich. China is not hoarding gold as a strategy.
China's central bank has significantly increased its gold buying efforts. That's marking 17 consecutive months of accumulation through March 2026.
They are obeying physics. They know that paper money, created from nothing at will, eventually returns to the nothing it came from. The dollar is being devalued, deliberately, systematically. The love of money is the root of all evil. And those who control the creation of currency have the deepest love of all. If an EMP were to strike, ATMs and digital systems could fail instantly. But gold will still weigh what it weighs. The question the book asks is not just will you survive, it is who are you? You are not just a citizen. Our strength is not only in weapons and numbers, but in God, who has never forsaken his people. The same God who parted the Red Sea is still parting things. You are an heir of a covenant. You are the descendant of a people who walked through a divided sea and stood on the other side free. That freedom is worth preparing for.
This is not the end of the story. It is the correction before the healing begins.
The fourth beast reigns for 42 months. It speaks against the Most High. It persecutes the saints. It changes laws and times. And then the Ancient of Days arrives. Daniel 7:21-22. This horn was waging war against the holy people and defeating them, until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was pronounced in favor of the holy people of the Most High. And the time came when they possessed the kingdom. Revelation 9. An army of 200 million. 1/3 of mankind destroyed by fire, smoke, and sulfur. Matthew 13. The weeds are gathered into bundles to be burned at the end of the age. The weeds are the children of the devil, the atheistic global power that planned to establish complete and total domination. They will not succeed. Revelation 19. The rider on the white horse arrives with the armies of heaven. Space travel is real. We are not alone in the universe. The army that arrives proves it. The fourth beast is destroyed. The court is seated. The kingdom is given to the saints. John saw a sea of glass mixed with fire, and standing beside it, not consumed by it, those who had been victorious over the beast. The victorious are the ones who prepared, who sheltered in place, who fled to the mountains, who stored the 390-day supply, who called on his name and were answered. They are standing beside the sea of glass, singing. Revelation 21:24. The holy city, the new Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. Look, God's dwelling place is now among the people. He will dwell with them. He will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain, for the old order of things has passed away. The question the book ends with is the oldest question. Are you invited? This is what God is building. This is why He is willing to go through judgment to create it. A world where the love of power is replaced by the love of God, where the instruments of war become the instruments of harvest, where children grow up never learning what a battlefield is. 1,000 years of peace on this earth, in this geography, under His reign. It does not come without cost, but it comes. Isaiah 2:4. Nation will not take up sword against nation. They will beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Never again will they train for war. Isaiah 3:10. The righteous will enjoy the fruit of their deeds. Be righteous. Act accordingly. Summer is near. It is right at the door. To my grandchildren. If you're reading this, it has begun. I'm writing this letter on a quiet afternoon in a quiet house while the world outside still looks like the world I have always known. I'm writing it because I do not believe the world will look this way for much longer. And I want you to have, in my own hand, the things I would tell you if I could be sitting at this table when you needed to hear them.
I planted in the spring. I am storing in the summer. The Bible told me when. Joel said the harvest would be lost. Ezekiel said 390 days. I am a farmer and I know what 390 days of food looks like. I am not afraid. I am ready.
I have seen what happens when the supply chain stops. I saw it during COVID. I am not waiting again. I have packed 3 of these, one for my family, one for the neighbors who will come, one spare for the people the Lord sends to my door. Matthew 25 is not a suggestion. Whatever I do the least of these, I do for him. So I am doing it now. While I can still buy the supplies, while the pharmacies are still open, the window is closing, I am not.
My grandfather taught me. I am teaching her. She will teach hers. The Lord said the righteous will enjoy the fruit of their deeds. I want my daughter to enjoy that fruit. So I am teaching her how to find water, how to clean it. How to know which plants are food and which are not. How to start a fire without a lighter. The skills my grandfather had, I am putting them back into her. The world she is going to live in will need them. I will not let her arrive there empty.
I am alone now. My husband went home to the Lord 3 years ago. I do not have a strong back. I do not have a farm. I do not have a basement full of buckets. What I have is a small apartment with food in the cupboard for 390 days and a Bible I have read every day for 50 years, and this book the Lord put in my hand last winter. I read it, I believed it. I am ready. The Lord does not require the same thing of every servant. He requires faithfulness. I am faithful. That is enough.
I am leaving you the letter. I am leaving you the book. I am leaving you the room downstairs and everything in it. I am leaving you the name of the spring and the place on the map. But the thing I am most leaving you is this. The Lord has not changed his mind. He is slow to anger and full of mercy. And he has told us in writing exactly what is coming and exactly how to be ready for it. He told Noah. Noah believed him. He told Ezekiel. Ezekiel believed him. He has told us. The only question that remains in any generation is whether the people who are told will believe.
After the show, go to YouTube and look up Everett Triplett, the Bible Prepper, and you will find many videos that he has posted through the years.